Talking Cougar basketball, the Lady Cougars, 9 in a row, I believe it is now, 17 of 18 if you go back into the last part of December. The only loss in there was that Freed Hardman, and a big game with them this weekend, as you mentioned, Stevens, and then 2 at home, 2 on the road to finish it up. And Heather English, what do you have to say about number 4? First of all, she owns the entire record book at Boonville High School, which I know is a place close to your heart as well with your kids playing there.
Close to our back door.
And really, yeah, right, exactly. I mean, you look up and down the list of, you name it, the categories, it's pretty much got Heather English next to it, and she's putting her stamp on the Columbia Cougars record books as well in a lot of ways, and she's the latest, the 9th, I believe it is, member to join that Century Club of 1,000 wins.
About 100.
Or 100.
Yeah, I thought it was 1,000.
Woo! 100 wins in her career here at Columbia College.
Well, you know, you start with Boonville. We've had such a great relationship and had so much success with young ladies from Boonville High School. I mean, my daughter, Whitney Davis, Rachel Oswald, who was such a great player here. You know, you have Heather coming in and following in their footsteps and doing unbelievable things. And I think it's so amazing with Heather because, you know, she's been a 2-time All-American already and Player of the Year in the conference and all those different things. But I think the interesting thing for her right now is I see a difference in her the last month and a half. You know, I don't see her counting up all the points she scored. I don't see that as being the important thing to her when she plays. I think she sees that bigger picture right now. You know, she's done all those things. She's won conference championships and gone to national tournaments, but we haven't made that deep run with her. And, you know, I really see her adjusting her game to what's best for our team. I think she's played some of her very, very best basketball she's ever played here in the last 2 weeks. I really do. And yet at the same time, she's probably averaging 13 or 14 points a game instead of 20 a game. But, you know, there's 13 or 14 points, there's 5 steals, there's 5 assists, there's 6 rebounds. And I mean, you talk about someone playing a complete game. And I'm really proud of her because, you know what, that's not an easy thing to do. You know, your ego tells you, well, if I score 20 or 25 points, that's what's best. You know, I think she's seen how I can make this team better and how I can get the most wins. When you talk about stats for someone here in the program, having 100 career victories and being a part of the Century Club, I think that's the ultimate stat. And that's the ultimate club you can be in. You know, that's the best of the club. So really proud of her. But this whole team's, I think they played that same way. If you've watched us the last few ball games, probably as unselfish as any teams I've ever had play here. You know, we had 21 assists the other night in one game. I think we had 18 last night at Mid-Continent. And when you do that, it's fun for everyone, lots of smiles.
And we've talked off and on this show and on the post-game wraps too, that really that getting some of the players healthy, as you mentioned, Heather's fought through some injury, and then the addition of PC and then Generica coming in have given you, not only are you deep as can be with waves of players that can go in different directions off the bench, but that really gives you a very solid team as far as the different looks and everybody playing on the same page.
You know, it really does, but I really want to commend our players because if you're starting to talk about how you put a team together, you don't say, well, at Christmas, let's add 2 new players. That's not the textbook way of doing it. And, you know, human nature and egos and everything says, well, that's my spot and those are my minutes. And you become very protective of those instead of worrying about what's best for the team. And it's something we talk about every day because this is not the normal way of doing it. And I think I really want to commend our players because I think we've handled those changes in a great way. And we've changed a lot of how we play and different things we do because different personnel have given us different strengths. So those are not easy things to do as a player, and especially during the middle of the season to make those changes. So I think our young ladies need a lot of a good pat on the back for doing things in an unselfish way, worrying about the team instead of themselves.
And as we mentioned earlier, we talked about practice, and everybody kind of giggles and jokes. You hear the word, you think of Allen Iverson and the infamous practice, but literally this team practices, as I mentioned before, like they're even harder than game time, I think, in a lot of ways, and that is a big reason for some of the success, especially down the stretch.
I'll get up on my stump here for a second. You know, I use Allen Iverson all the time to our team because, you know, when you are better than everyone else in the world, you can kind of be the way he was and get away with it. But the second you're not the best, you know, he can't get a job in China now, the basketball team.
Right.
And, you know, to be able to fit into a team, I think that is a great attribute to have, not only for basketball and for college, but way past that. And again, this team, we've not asked easy things out of them, and they've done a really nice job of adjusting.
You mentioned over the course of the season that different coaches shows that one thing, that one real big goal is for you guys to make a deep run at that national tournament. You still have to get to that spot. You have to get back to that tournament. So not quite a.
We're going to fight and get there, though, Cosmo. We're going to get there.
So let's okay. We're going to transport. We're there.
However, whatever we have to do to get there, we're going to get there.
How do you get this team to be the one that wins that extra ball game, that takes you to that Elite Eight level, or that does make that run in the national tournament?
Well, I've been very fortunate. When I was at Central Methodist, we had a Final Four team there, and it was great fun to do. I think you need the right blend of players. I think you have to have the talent, but at the same time, I think you also need to go there. And that's your week for basketball. That's your week to be a part of your team, and that's your week that really nothing else going on around you is a priority. I mean, it really is. It's part of what you do, and to be a part of athletics and stuff, it's so much fun. And I always tell people I don't know if it even work. I get paid to do this, but I don't know if it's really work. And to be a part of a team and one that has a chance to do those things, it leaves a mark on you forever. I mean, that never goes away from you. So, I think this team, we're still building toward that. I don't know that we're there yet. And, like I say, we're going to have our hands full Saturday, but it's something you keep building toward. And hopefully when the middle of March gets here, we're in that mindset to make that run.
Who has, down the stretch, and I know we just talked about this not that long ago, and maybe the names are the same or it has changed a little bit, who's been a player or a couple that have surprised you as this season has made the next turn down the stretch, where you've seen them take that next level either on the court or off the court? Well,
I will tell you, I think Janerica Bland, who we talk about a lot, I think it's been amazing how she has fit in to this team in a short amount of time. Again, that's not the normal way of doing it. So I think for her to fit in as well as she has, that's not the norm. She's done a good job there. I think when you look at Ashley Fisher, someone who played golf a year ago, didn't play basketball, I don't think it was as easy for her to get back into basketball mode this time. I think right now we're really seeing her play some great basketball and truly enjoying it. We're getting off the bus yesterday for our shoot around, and I'm teasing her about, what are you going to do next year, this or that, were you working on your tennis game or something else? And she goes, oh no, coach, I'm back here to play basketball. So, when people are really enjoying things and being rewarded, in their own minds for it, and I think that's happening to a lot of our players right now, and those are just two. Tierney Seifert, who I think had played well but had not shot the ball well this year, I think she's coming around. I think she's getting in there. Heather English, we've talked about her all the time, but I think her health is finally getting to the point where we're seeing her play really be at such a high level in so many areas. So there's lots of them. And actually, even the last 2 or 3 ball games, Aqua Corpening has played really well. And, of all of our players, Aqua probably has the best basketball mind on her. I mean, she really sees things. This sounds bad to say, but she plays or thinks like a guy, when she's on the court. So that's just a few, but we have a lot of people doing a lot of good things for us, and hopefully we'll even have more to talk about at the end of this week.
Most definitely a couple more home games in the regular season, at least, to come out and watch the Cougars, and then hopefully a handful of conference tournament games, and then who knows, we'll see where you get put in that national tournament picture for the trip on down the line.
It's a fun time, and again, there's nothing more enjoyable than seeing how you and teams around the conference, teams around the country are comparing to each other, and then when you get that opportunity at the national tournament to really be ready to do your best.
To put that run together, as the Cougars have moved themselves into number 12 in the latest rankings with a couple weeks left in the regular season. Coach, thanks for your time. Enjoy practice. I know that's where you're getting ready to head. More shooting. You hit 17 threes. You're still practicing the 3-ball, getting ready for a big game against Freed Hardman and a couple more down the stretch. Coach, thanks for your time again. Appreciate it.
Cosmo.
Coach Mike Davis, Cougar women's head coach. Columbia College, again, a couple more home games left. ColumbiaCougars.com, see the full schedule. And before we know it, the brackets will be up for the AMC Conference postseason tournament with trips to the national tournament on the line. Thanks for watching Cougar Coaches Show. You're on ColumbiaCougars.com and MediaCom Channel 22.